did you get into investing? So I know you've done a little bit of investing with us, but how were you introduced to the world of investing? Was it by happen chance, like you just happened to stumble across an investment, you said this looks good, or you were trying to build wealth, or where did that come from?
You know what's funny is all my life I've been really curious about, why some people succeed and others don't. And I said, I came from a family without a lot of money, so I didn't grow up with everybody investing around me or anything like that. But I remember, I think it was like 7th or 8th grade that I learned about the difference between labor and capital and decided I wanted to be capital. And so, I went to courses on how to run a small business, and things like that. And I did go into my own business, and I've had my own business now for more than 20 years and grown that as well. So I worked on Wall Street. I had an internship on Wall Street when I was in college. And so I've always been really interested in investment and what that means in terms of, how you make money, how you are successful. And it's not just about having a job. Having a job is great, but if you can be an investor, that makes all the difference. So it's sort of something I dreamed about even since I was a child. And I've done a lot of different kinds of investment. I've bought houses, I've bought stocks and bonds and everything. And so being able to invest in real estate is just part of diversifying how I do that.
When you got the job at the White House, and so at that time, did you apply the principles that you now teach women? Did you know that you were supposed to have somebody who was in that inner circle? Were you telling them about yourself? Were you upselling yourself? Things like that?
That's a great question. And I think I've had to learn a lot of those things the hard way. And so it's nice to help other people leapfrog some of the hard lessons I had to learn. It was actually a difficult interview process. The first person I interviewed with was really harsh with me. And, one of the questions he asked, he said, "You went to Harvard and you graduated magna cum laude." And I don't know if people know all this, but there's summa cum, there's cum laude, magna cum laude, and then summa cum laude is the highest. And he said, "I graduated summa cum laude. Why didn't you?" Can you imagine asking somebody that? And it's like, you graduated magna cum laude. Why didn't you graduate summa cum laude? You could have done better.
Oh,
and then
what did you say?
Yeah, what did you say?
And then in the next interview, so this was the next person I interviewed, he said, "So you got the silver medal in the Olympics. I got silver and bronze." He said, "Why didn't you get the gold?" I kid you not. So these are the interviews that I have. And I'm thinking, do I even want to work with these people?
Yeah, right.
What a jerk. And I think, looking back, I think part of it was, if you're going to be in politics, if you're going to work in the White House, there are sharp elbows, it can be a rough and tumble place. So part of it might've been just to see, if somebody shoves you, can you shove back, or you're going to fall over. So it might've been that they were trying to see if I was prepared. So, I think I gave them a good answer. I jumped back, but I didn't like it. I thought, if this is going to be the culture, I don't like it. And then the third person I interviewed with, Bo Cutter, was amazing. And he talked about, if you come to work with us on the Economic Council, here's what we're doing. Here's what matters. And part of what he said, you'll appreciate this, was after World War II, all of the departments of the government, the executive branch, were created, the Agriculture Department, the Labor Department, all these things. And they were created to solve the kinds of problems that we had after World War II. He said some of the biggest problems we have to solve now fall between the cracks of these departments. So, for example, in the Clinton administration, created the School to Work program. Is the getting from school, the way school works doesn't necessarily prepare you to get a job and be successful in a job. And so they were looking at, these interfaces. How do we do this? So, that conversation inspired me to actually want to go work there. And so the third interview I had was the charm that made me say, you know what, this guy I want to work with. These are the kind of problems I want to help solve. So that was exciting. You know what, just before we get to the last thing, I also want to share a story from being at the Paralympics.
Yeah.
And I was the third ranked one-legged skier on the US team. So, and they only took 3 one-legged skiers. So I just had barely squeaked onto the team, and nobody expected me to beat my teammates, never mind anybody else in the world. So I was just glad to have my ticket to Innsbruck, Austria, to be on the team. I had worked for years and, worked odd jobs, moved away from home, all those things to be able to do it. So I was just so excited to be representing the United States of America. But when I finished the first run of the first race, it was slalom was the first race. When I finished and all the times were posted, my time was number 1 in the world. So I had trained hard. I had pushed myself. I had raced a lot against 2 years, and when I actually showed up for the Paralympics, I did have a chance of winning. I was in the running. And so I was so excited, but you have to do 2 runs combined time to take home the medal. And it's not like the 100-yard dash where it's always the same thing. It's a totally different course. The second run's completely different from the first run. The snow in the first run gets all chewed up and they set a new course. So I'm in first place going into the second run. I get to the top of the hill and I'm waiting my turn. A few other women go down and they radio back up to the top to tell us women are crashing. There's this icy spot on the course and women are crashing. So I'm thinking I could win or I could crash, and if you don't finish both runs, you're out, you're done. So thinking, no heroics. I just have to have a good, solid run, and I could win this. So, don't go crazy, just stay standing, right? And so I'm in the starting gate, and the race official counts down 3, 2, 1, go. And you break the timing wand, and I'm hitting the red and the blue poles. I was so focused. I wasn't even hearing, the people shouting my name. And I was sponsored by the National Brotherhood of Skiers, a national Black group of skiers. And 32 members of that group came to cheer for me. 32 Black people standing on a ski hill kind of stand out, right? I keep saying, Bonnie, you have a big family. Anyway, though, I'm going for this run for the gold, and I get to where I can see the finish line. I think I made it. I'm over the ice, and that's when I hit it. And I tried to hold on to my edge, but I couldn't do it. And so I fell. I had heard many of the skiers had before me. And so disappointed, just wanted to disappear. But my training was always to finish no matter what. So I grabbed my equipment, got over the finish line. And when the dust cleared, I was still in third place. I won the bronze medal in that race. Now, the woman who beat me in that race, I had beaten her in the first run, right? So when nothing went wrong, I had the fastest time. Now, you might think, oh, well, she beat me because she didn't fall. She actually did fall. She also fell on this day. All the one-legged women fell on this dangerous icy spot, got up and finished. So if I was the faster skier, I fell and she fell. How did she beat me? Mm-hmm. She had to have gotten up faster, right? Mm-hmm. She couldn't ski faster than I could, but she got up faster. So that moment of hesitating, of falling down and thinking, oh, it's over, I lost. That's how I lost, was that moment of feeling sorry for myself. So I was actually quoted on a Starbucks cup. They did a campaign where they were putting quotes on Starbucks cup, and it said, people fall down, winners get up, but sometimes the gold medal winner is just the person who gets up the fastest. So you can probably use that in the investing world, right? It's not every investment is going to go perfect, but you need to get back up and get back in the game. And if you can do that faster, you're going to do better overall, right?